Okay, all right. Good morning, guys, and welcome to 215 Trades, the home of the 215 technique. You're here today with the awesome Chef Boy RG. All right, just looking to see if we can cook up some pips today on gold. We had a very beautiful day yesterday on gold. Before I actually start, let me just break it down yesterday how it actually played out for us in the premium section as we were trading after our Zoom session we had yesterday. Let's see if I can find the exact time we caught that entry. So I'm on the 5 minute time frame and I'm just going through what we did yesterday. So let's see, around 7 o'clock, where was it? 7 o'clock. So this was the 215 zone. We had our 50-minute rejection line right there, which price broke it, came down to the 1 hour support. Kept on consolidating between the zone and the 4 hour support. However, it didn't quite break into the range most of the morning, so it kept outside of the range for a lot of it until about 9 o'clock. Almost 10 o'clock actually, to 10 minutes to 10, it came back in the zone and it closed right here, which we took that lovely entry here because we had that final candle that broke below the zone and closed between that 15-minute rejection and the 215 zone. That's the sell line. So it closed right there, as you can see, just below it. So we took that sell from here, targeting the lower supports, which we were able to capitalize on, scoring about a maximum of 100 pips on that move. Pretty decent. We were aiming for it to actually go back to the 4 hour support, but it didn't quite go there on that move. Price came back in again, retraced back into the zone. There were so many entries that could have played out on the 215 zone yesterday in the London session, because price came back, tested that 15-minute rejection, and the claim here is get again. So it came back. So it did the retest where it came, test that 15-minute rejection, pull back in the zone, close inside the zone, followed by a candle closure on the outside. You could have entered from that if you wanted to wait for a better candle closure. You could have waited for this one as well, and that one would have also given you a pretty decent buy as well back to these 1 hour resistance, which would be a pretty decent 100 pip move again, right? And if you're still using that same zone, price came back again, tested that 50-minute rejection, was too big, so you'd have to wait for it to retrace. Didn't retrace same time, but then it retraced in this section right here. Would have been another confirmation for you to actually reuse the zone, where this would also be another sell as well, because this candle closed below the range once again, and you could have entered for a short in that area and targeting the lower lows again, which price did dump down another 100, or actually more than that, because it broke that 1 hour support, that 4 hour support that it was rejecting from all morning. All right, so that's how yesterday played out. So yesterday was a really good day yesterday. So let's see if we can get the same kind of movements in today's price action. Let me just remove these and then I'll just dive right into it and begin for today. So yesterday was good, so let's see if we can catch the same amount of pips today. So I'm just need to find the 7 a.m. candle. Here's the 7 a.m. candle, is the candle that I work with to begin marking my 215 zone. So let's see, 7 a.m. this candle would have opened right there. So this is going to be my 7 a.m. candle for today. So once I mark the current price of that candle, so that's going to be my POI. Let's go back to the 15-minute time frame. So that's my POI for today. We have a lot of range to play with below and above, so that should be all right. So that's my 215. That's my let's switch this to All right, so that's my point of interest. Now measuring 2 pips, no, not 2 pips actually, 20 pips. Yeah, 20 pips from that point of interest. If the point of interest is 3005, then we're looking for our sell line, because we're doing it from the lower end. Should be about 2. So it should be 3003. Should believe 3003.412. 0.412, and that's going to be like my sell line, still following the rules of the 215. That's going to be my sell line right there, and we're doing it just above the zone as well to identify my buy line. The price, the 7 a.m. candle at is at 3005.412, and what's this one? Good morning, Adam. How are you doing today? All right, so the buy line is going to be 3007.412. all right, so that's going to be my buy line. Okay, good. So that's the 215 zone. This is the London 215 zone, and as you know, the best time to do the London 215 zone is 1 hour before the London Open. That's if you want to catch the pre-London that opening volume. All right, you can throughout London, you know, you can still redo the zone at any point in time you'd like, based on the time that you're looking at it. But based on the time that I'm streaming and when I want to take entries, then I will do it in this time. Now, as you know, 215 zone, we need to find the 50-minute rejection lines as well. Not really seeing it on the what you call it, on the 50-minute time frame, but it's fine because I can always just use it, the standard estimate of 1.5 well, it's 15 pips from the zone for my 15-minute rejection. More than likely what will happen is that it will align on the, well, it fits right here at the top of this one over here, right? So what will happen is that if I go to the 5-minute time frame, more than likely it will be, yeah, it will be on the top of a support or on the bottom of a support. So that's fine. So that's going to be my 15-minute rejection line, because I'm using the 215 retest versus the 215 go. Let's see, we need to do the same thing from the buy line as well, 15 pips. I'm going to use a horizontal line for this section though, because I wanted to go all the way across. Yeah, because I wanted to touch that bit. So I'm just going to make it in, put the text on. I'm just going to put my 15-minute rejection. Price is dumping already. That's fine. That's my 15-minute rejection. Switch this from white to yellow. Broken, make it a little bit tinier. Maybe that's too tiny. All right, yeah, that's my 15-minute rejection. All right, cool. So that's the 15-minute rejection right there. All right, good morning to you, official. Welcome. All right, good. So that's it. So I have the 215 zone, the London 215 zone marked out. I have the 15-minute rejection points marked out that I'm looking for price to test and retest the zone. Now I just need to find my target areas on the higher time frames. All right. So let's see. So the first spot would be the 30-minute support. 30-minute support is right here. And to be honest, I love the price action that has been going on gold. I love the fact that the price of gold has been tanking over the last couple of days, because if it's going down, that means then it's just giving me more wiggle room for the 215 technique. Because as you know, the technique really, in order for the technique to work, it needs to have support, it needs to have structure above and also structure below as well. And if you're at all-time high, that means that you only have structure above, you only have structure below, sorry, you only have structure below and no structure above. So the fact that gold is coming back down into these range just means that, you know, I have more structure to play with, and I'm okay with that. Very okay with that. All right, so I'm just putting in my 1 hour resistance right here as well. Let's go all the way up to the 4-hour time frame just to see what we can find. 4-hour time frame right there is it. So that's a 4-hour, and then I don't have anything here, but it's fine. I'll use the wick of this last 4-hour candle for my 4-hour support. So this is going to be my 4-hour support. Let's look at the daily time frame just to see what's going on. All right, that's decent as well. We can see where price has dumped down into this key support area on the daily time frame. This daily candle right now is a bit green, which is expected because it rejected from that support right there. And as we do know, at supports there's always a lot of buying pressure, so that could be one of the reasons as to why this daily candle is now green. Now, but as you can see, there's a bit of a resistance right here, so it can actually hit this resistance right here at that 15-minute rejection line, and then retrace back downwards actually to maybe even go to the section over here, right? To maybe even test these section over here, but who knows, right? Because price can actually use this area as a trampoline in a sense, and push to actually go back to test these tops here at 3049, right? So we just have to be patient, wait for the structure to create and for it to test our areas, and then look for entries. So let's see, let's go back to the 5-minute time frame, because you do know the 5-minute time frame is the time frame we use for our entry setup and confirmations. All right, so this is what I'm expecting to happen today, for me to look to take any entries on gold. I'm looking for price to either break below this range, to test this 15-minute rejection, pull back into the zone with a candle closure on the inside, followed by another candle closure below the range, just below the 215 zone, in between the sell line and that 15-minute rejection line, right? Need for it to properly test this 15-minute rejection, not by a wick as it have done with a wick. I needed to test this 15-minute rejection with a candle closure, right? Once they've done that, then that would be a good time for me to look for shorts to basically target that 30-minute support, which is like 30 pips away from this. So that's good. Target that 30-minute support and ultimately targeting that 1-hour support as well. Pretty clean range as well if we break that 30-minute support. Pretty clean range down to that 1-hour support as well. So that will be the indicator for me to take a short. However, as you know, price moves in 2 directions, and price can also go up as well to test that 15-minute rejection, followed by a retracement and candle closure inside the 215 zone. If I can get that, followed by another candle closure above the range, like just in between the 15-minute rejection line and the buy line as well, then I would be looking to go for a long, to ultimately targeting the higher time frame resistance on the above, right, which would align with the daily as well. Because if you look on the daily, price is coming up now, right? There is a rejection on that 15-minute rejection spot, but that's why I needed to test and retrace, right? If you can test and retrace this little area here, then that's good confirmation to say that price may want to actually push back to this resistance on that daily time frame, right? So if it does confirm a buy, this is ultimately where I think it might go. So let's just see. No one knows really. So I just really have to wait for price to basically just go through the motions and react to the specific points which I wanted to react to. Waiting patiently, because yesterday in London we waited. We did our zone at around 7 o'clock, and we didn't get an entry until 10:10. That's when I sent the signal in the premium Telegram group to the premium 215ers. Send it at 10:10 a.m. So we waited for basically 3 hours for that setup. So we just have to wait patiently for this to happen. So let's go out. Let's add my alerts on as well. And hold on, let's go to the alerts box. So this is the sell line. Let's switch this to every time and say gold is crossing sell side. It's pretty important to do that as well. Well, for me it is, because sometimes I'm not on the chart. So when you get that alert, you don't want to get the alert to say it's crossing the price. You want to get the alert to say it's crossing, like, you know, what it's crossing exactly, because you might not always remember the price. So gold is crossing the buy line. All right, that sets every time, so that's good. So hit save. All right, so this looks good. This looks good today. It's now 7:18 a.m. And we have London market open in a couple of minutes, actually, and 40 minutes, well, 42 minutes to be exact. So that's when majority of the volume will come in. But I would like for price to distribute itself over the 215 zone, testing the 50-minute rejection on both sides, on the above and also on the below, just in time for that volume from the London session. All right. Now remember, guys, if you haven't yet liked this stream, please go ahead and do so. Really do appreciate the love and the support, as you all know. All right, so we go in on today up until about 8:30 streaming time, 30 minutes after the London Open. Then the rest of it will be off scene. So hopefully within that time we can actually get set up today. As you can see, the volume has come in. I'm not sure where that volume is coming from, and it has now tested that 50-minute rejection line. If it closes where it's at now, that means that that 50-minute rejection has been properly tested as well. All right, give me a minute, guys. Well, that's some very strong volume, that is. All right, so let me just send the markup here in the group. All right, good. All right, so price is pushing up pretty aggressively. I'm not sure what's going. As a matter of fact, let me check if there's which I'm pretty sure there isn't. Okay, that's a decent rejection. I love that. All right. To confirm, can you guys hear me? Just to. I think my audio just went down. That's fine though. Should be fine. Remember, guys, if you haven't yet liked the stream, please go ahead and do so. All right, so that's good that this candle wicked up, creating some level of space there above the range, and is retracing now back to the zone. So let's see what's going to happen on that. In the meantime, let me just fill out my signal sheet with all the details on it. All right, so the price for the point of interest was at 3,005.41, and the sell side 50-minute rejection is at 3,002.076. All right, the buy side 50-minute rejection is at 3,008.715. And let's go for the 30-minute resistance, which is at 3,014.867. I think today's just, I just have a feeling that today is just going to be a very good day based on the structure which the price has created so far. support is at 299.72. I would expect that price would be like around 2950 when I got up. But the Asians seem to tend to be keeping gold afloat during the night hours. All right, so that signal sheet is set up properly. All right, so now let's see what's going to happen here in this bit. So price has just tested that 15-minute rejection. I'm going to move my alert now from there down to the buy line because I need to see price, because as it has now broken the zone and has tested that 15-minute rejection, I now need to see price actually pull back into the zone now, and then a candle closure on the above. Now that's what I'm waiting for because it has already done one section of the requirement of the 215 retest, and it's now 7:25 a.m. as well, and it does show that there is volume inside of the market. Good morning, Mr. Evans. Hope you are doing lovely today, my friend. Thank you, guys. Remember to like and share if you haven't yet done so. So yep, 15-minute rejection line perfectly tested. Love that. Has been tested with a candle closure as well. Yeah, I'm decent, my friend. I'm pretty decent, We had a lovely start to the week yesterday, so we're up. We had a total of about 80 to 100 pips extracted from the market yesterday, so we are decent. Pretty lovely. Thank you very much for all those interactions and those hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Remember to hit that thumbs up button as well, and to also share the live, my friends. Share the live. If you have a WhatsApp status, put it on there. If you have a TikTok, put it on there as well. Just share the live. Thank you guys very much. I don't know how I'm going to get around TikTok, because every single I think what TikTok has done is that once you have 215 trades on, they just blocked it overall. Now, while price is moving up this aggressively, I can see the potential of what it wants to do. So let's go to the higher time. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame. Let's have a zoom out of what we can expect, because at that 1 hour resistance, we can get a rejection from that 1 hour resistance. We can also get a rejection from that 30-minute resistance as well for a short, which could be a entry 2 if possible. So in this area here, we can get an entry 2 short in this area here if it does confirm as how we would want it to confirm with the 215 technique. As you know, if it's going up, we just basically need to see 2 reversal candles going in the opposite direction for entry 2. And we all know that if we take that entry from the zone here, it will be an entry 1 setup. So if price continued to push up this aggressively, we could just wait for an entry 2 setup from either of the 30-minute resistance, the 1 hour resistance, or even the 4 hour resistance as well. So it might not get confirmed, but if we look on the daily time frame, it's at this little support area here. Well, it's pushing past it now, so it looks, so here would be the next, I would think would be the next final spot for it to go throughout the day. Maybe not now, but maybe in the NY session if the price is still continuing to push. But we're not in a buy just yet because it hasn't confirmed a buy for us, unless price retraces back to the 215 zone. Then we could take that buy from these areas to target the highs. But the good thing about it as well is that price is above the 215 zone and it's creating a bit of a pathway so far. So far we can see that from the 15-minute rejection, price has gone up by 40 pips already. And our first TP on, if we were to take a buy, is going to be about 60 pips. Wow. It's going to be about a 60 pip for the first TP. Wow, so that's good. So even if that buy confirmed and we only get it to that, we get an entry from here to that 30-minute resistance, we're okay with that, because that's at least 50 pips secured and extracted successfully from the market. Oh yes, I did say that I was going to do Euro USD. Did say I was going to do Euro USD as well. Yes. All right. Yeah. Let's dive into Euro USD as well. Hold on. Let me see if I can find my 7 a.m. candle on Euro USD. Let's go in minutes. Wow, that was a perfect pick. All right, so this is Euro USD. Let's go back to the go back to the 15-minute time frame. Am I on the? No, you're on the 1 minute. Let's go back to the 15-minute time frame. Ooh, price possibly display might have been already played out for you, my friend. You missed that one in a sense. Watch out, yeah. Let's put it right here instead then. That was the point of interest. Now, if you're using the 215 technique on Euro USD, well, what you would do, let's see. So, on gold, the point of interest, from the point of interest to the buy or sell line, it's like 20 pips or $2 for short. But on Euro USD, it's going to be a little bit more different. On Euro USD, it's actually going to be 7 pips. And I have been live testing this for some time, so it's going to be 7 pips on this. So from that point of interest is 7 pips right there. So this would be the buy line, right? This would be, did I measure that right? Taking 70 from that, so that should be 604. All right, well, that's not too bad. It's pretty much almost the same. So this is going to be the sell line. So this is the 215 zone on Euro USD. Now, if you're doing the technique on these, it does take a longer time for price to actually play out when you're trading currencies, but majority of the time it actually does play out. All right, so price is pushing. Let me just put an alert here on that 30-minute resistance, and I'll come back to it. So that's a 215 zone. All right, so let's go to the higher time frames just to identify a 30-minute support is pretty close. Let's use this one though. Let's use that one as the 30-minute support resistance, 30-minute resistance. And let's use this here. Pretty close to that wick. As a matter of fact, let's just use the wick of that one as the 30-minute support. So that's the 30-minute support. Let's go to the 1 hour as well. 1 hour. This section right here does look pretty nicely for the 1 hour support. And I find that most of the times, like whenever you're looking for a decent rejection on, like, you know, if we're doing entry 2, an entry 2 setup for a rejection on gold, we can get it from the 30-minute support, we can get it from the 1 hour support or resistance, or up to the 4 hour. But I find that whenever I'm taking entries on Euro USD or any crypto, not crypto, and any forex pair using this technique, I find that it has a higher rate of actually rejecting from the 1 hour or the 4 hour. So the rate of which it rejects on the 30-minute sometimes is a little bit less is what I'm trying to say. So the 1 hours are usually good for rejection points. Now I think we have missed that entry because we weren't on the chart, but let's have a closer look because we missed that 7 o'clock one. Let's go to the 4 hour. Let me just mark out the 4 hour in the meantime. So the 4 hour, we can use this section right there. It's pretty close though, but that's fine. The 4 hour, let's use this wick right here as well. So if we go back to the 5-minute time frame, because we're still taking entries on the 5-minute time frame. Still taking entries on the 5-minute time frame, but the thing is, whenever you're using the 215 on forex, you don't necessarily have to wait for a retest. Well, it depends on the period that you're actually working on, really. So we have this candle that closed above the buy line, so we would have actually already be in that buy already. Yeah, we would have already been in that buy on that candle close right there. See, what you will do is that it's the same rule. Once candle close above the zone, I usually, if it close above the zone, let's say about what you call it, about a pip above the zone, then it's still pretty decent for you to take. So in this instance right here, you would have already entered the buy from here. Stop loss just on that point of interest, and then you target whatever is above for you. So you would have already hit at least the 30-minute resistance already. But being that that play has already played out, what I usually do is that if I miss a play, right, and it's continuing, if it's not confirming a rejection, then what I'll do is that I'll put a alert on my point of interest, right, because I've already missed that play and I'm not going to re-enter that play. So I will put an alert on my point of interest, and then once price actually pulls back to my point of interest again, now that reactivate the zone in a sense, the 215 zone in a sense, and I can then wait for it. I also take a rejection. I can also take a rejection entry from my point of interest because I'm also testing that as well. Or I can wait for it to break and close above the zone or below the zone again. So we've already missed that 7 a.m. play already on EU, but there's more. So on these forex pairs, I find that if I'm using the 215 and I'm not using the 215 retest on the forex pairs, then what will happen is that you tend to get a lot of entries if it doesn't move aggressively in one direction. But what if it moves to, let's say, the 30-minute resistance and pull back to your 215 zone and retrace from that that point of interest? You can get a rejection from the point of interest, a rejection buy from that point of interest, or based on how it's moving, you could also get a sell as well, but it depends. So let's see what will happen now if price will come back into the zone, as it has already tested that 30-minute resistance. Let's see if price will come back into the zone to that point of interest, and then we can reevaluate EU at that point in time. So we basically missed that first 7 a.m. entry on that, but London is coming in about 23 minutes. So let's see what's going to happen with that volume comes in. Good morning, Sylvia. How are you doing today? So yeah, gold is pushing up aggressively. No retracement, no signs of retracement. That the one sign of retracement we got, price was pulling down, almost came into the 215 zone, but instead of continuing down in the 215 zone, it has rejected and is now going back up to these areas. And London tends to always want to continue the trend, so if London pushes it up higher, I don't think we would get a play until about 10-11 o'clock London time. Remember guys, if you haven't yet liked the stream, please go ahead and do so. All right, no problem. Thank you very much for checking in, and enjoy your day, my friend. All right, so DXY is going down, and as you know, EU is actually a reverse of the DXY chart, so that means then EU is going to continue to go up. That would have been a pretty decent entry. That would have been, that's at 8 pips and still pushing 10 pips as well. So we missed out on that. I forgot about EU, but we can also do a GJ. I've tested it on not only GJ, so I've tested the 215 on EU, mainly EU, because I like the spreads on EU. I find, you know, because once I take an entry, ooh, I'm automatically in profit. So I love that. So I've tested it on EU. I've also tested it on CJ. That's CAD JPY, works perfectly as well, and also on GJ, that's GBP JPY, works perfectly on GBP JPY as well. It's just that I tend to like EU more because of the spreads. So let's see. We can also have a look at GJ as well. So if I go to GBP JPY, all right, let's look at the 15-minute time frame. Let's see what's going on. All right, so this 15-minute candle closes in. This 15-minute. Oh, I still have my markings on here. On the for how long that is. Let's reset the chart view and see if I can zoom in. Point of interest. Gold is okay, so gold has pushed past the 30-minute resistance. All right, so it's at the 30-minute resistance now. Yeah, we can get an entry too from here, all depending on how the price reacts to it. So let's see. So we have, if price pulls back to the point of interest, let's see what will happen there. For GJ, I'm going to start a new 215 zone on GJ just for illustration purposes, so you guys can see how you can use a 215 technique on GJ. If you trade GJ, do you guys let me know in the chat if you trade GBP JPY? If you trade GBP JPY, let me know in the chat, and I'll do the 215 markup on this. Okay, it's been consolidated. Yeah. Oh yeah, Adam, I know you are the king when it comes on to GJ. Been consolidating. Yes, it has been, but as you can see, it's consolidating in sort of like I don't know, just looking at it, it's like it's going like up in a sense, so it's consolidating upwards in a sense, if you see what I'm trying to draw with those little squiggly lines. All right, so this 15-minute candle closes in 2 minutes, so as soon as this candle closes, then I will begin to apply the 215 zone wherever that 15-minute candle closed. I like marking the 215 zones, as you guys know, on the 15-minute time frame, so I can see the support and resistance on the 15-minute time frame. Now, if this candle closes red, it's a perfect candle just for me to wait to see if there's going to be another confirmation for a short, for an entry to short actually. So only just looking for a 10 pip, well, a 15 pip stop loss. If this candle closes red, I'll just wait for the next candle to come in, and if that candle closes red as well, then I'll be looking to take an entry to short from that 30-minute resistance line. So if I can get that, then that will be perfect. Ideally targeting that 15-minute rejection line, if not ultimately going for that point of interest. So let's see what's going to happen. This candle has now flipped red as well, but we still have about a minute left on that candle, and a lot of things can happen in a minute on gold. So it's now 7:45 a.m. here in London, and we have at least 45 minutes left on stream. So let's see if we can get some action in this time. That's a massive flip on GJ. Okay. All right, so that candle closed right there. So that's going to be the point of interest on GJ for right now. Now, what I find that is best to put the 215 zone is basically 100. Well, 0.1 really, because GJ is so volatile as gold as well. You want to make sure you give it enough space for it to do its thing. So it's 188.601, so this is going to be 188.5 .501. Don't want to miss that entry 2 on gold. So let's see. All right, we have the first red candle, but I only would want to risk a 15 pip on it if it confirms that short. But if this candle closes way below it and is going to be exceeding that 15 pip by a mile. So let's see. So that's the first rejection from that 30-minute support, 30-minute resistance right there. An entry 2 setup could be possible right here. Just that candle closed so big, basically taking up most of my range, because I'm only looking to take a 15 pip sell on that. EU rejecting from that 1 hour resistance, which makes sense for when you're trading currencies as well. You don't necessarily have to wait as well for 2 candle closures to confirm the rejection. What I will have been testing is that I just need to wait for 1 candle to reject from the resistance R to support, 1 to close red, then I just need to see the next one create a wick on the opposite direction and then reverse. Then once I see that, I will go for a short or a long, all depending on if it's a support or a resistance. This has all been live tested, so I've been live testing these entries, these currencies, not really back testing it. So I have been using my real live funds to take the entries, and EU has just been phenomenal. I haven't taken any entries on it in a while, but historically it has been phenomenal. All right, so if I'm doing this is going to be the sell line. Right, that's going to be the sell line, and if I'm going to do it above as well, still doing the same principle of putting 100 or 0.1. Still unsure of how the pips are calculated on this. Hoping you know. That's the buy line. this in its sense would be the 215 zone. And what I find as well, if you trade in like GJ or EU, it's always good to track the what you call that, the index of the currencies as well. So if you trade in GJ, it's always good for you to look at the what's it's called, the Yen basket, the JPY basket, just to see what it's doing as well, because if the Yen basket is going up, then you know that GJ should be going down as well. So it's always good just to have a correlation of the two, just tracking them just to see what's happening on this, because if it's anything happen on this, should be the reversal should be going on this as well. Let's see, 50 seconds. It's a pretty decent entry to confirmation, that is testing that 30-minute resistance, just that these candles are too big for me to go for the short, because that's about a 25 pip SL. So it doesn't quite fit the criteria for an entry too, just the same, because the SL is too big. Yeah, the SL on that one would be what, 23 pips. Well, that exceeded my 15 pip SL that I was looking for that entry too. So it can still work out, as in it can still break and come back all the way down here. But it's just that it doesn't fit the criteria for the entry 2. 15 pip is the SL on an entry 2. These two candles should have created like a 15 pip range for me to look for in a short, but it's too big. EU still skyrocketing. GJ is just below. Let me switch just back to that just to see. Wait a minute, under 5-minute time frame. That's the thing with GJ. I'm not. Let's see if this is, in a sense, that would now confirm a short. That would now confirm a short on GJ. That one that closed below, and then you'll just target the 30-minute support. So you don't necessarily have to wait for like a retest on these, because once it breaks and it closes, then you go for it. So from here, from this distance, this would have been a short confirm right here from this candle, stop loss at the point of interest versus putting it all the way there, and then you'll target the higher time frame supports for this. So that's what it would be looking like for you. I'm not taking any entries on these just now. I'm just showing you guys as illustration how these actually work. So that's how you would do it. It's mainly just going to be a quick scalp in these instances whenever you're trading the currency pairs. So that 30-minute resistance will be like a first TP. Therefore, once price hits it, then you would just go break even at that point and just have the trade move as how you want it to. So for GJ, if you're doing the 215, you would be using 100 or 0.1 from whatever price it is in between from your point of interest to get your 215 zone. So you don't necessarily have to wait for a retest of the zone. You just need the candle to close below or above. But you have to bear in mind as well the size of the candles, because you don't want it to close too far away from the zone. 4 is not so bad, and then you can see that will just be melting down smoothly as well to that 1 hour support. How many pips would that be right now? So that's down 15, 16 pips already on GJ. So that's what it would look like if you're using the 215. If this candle, let's say for example, this wasn't the candle which, let's say for example, this was the candle, the first candle that broke, you wouldn't enter a short on this one because it broke so far away from the zone. So you needed to close below the zone, but you need to close as closely as possible to the zone, not taking up all of the space that you want it to actually test. So this is a perfect example of how you would use the 215 technique on GJ. On EU, we had already missed that buy based on the time which we had started the stream. But fear not, for the coming streams as well, every morning once I mark out the gold 215 zone, I will also mark out the GJ and the EU zones as well at that point in time, and then we can take those scalps on those on the live stream. So we would be in this buy from right here, targeting these highs, and we would be in this chart as well, targeting these lows. Yeah, so we can see where price is rejected now. It's now 7:54 a.m. here in London, and the London market opens in 5 minutes, right? This entry 2 was confirmed, however, not a valid entry 2 because of the zone, not the zone, but the range of these two candles being over the 15 pip range for us to actually look for a short. So we now just need to wait for the London opening, and let's see if the volume will come in. Let's see if the London volume will push the price back down to our 215 zone for us to take an entry from that. Now as well, as GJ is actually pushing down to that 1 hour support, I did say it as well that on the 1 hour time, like from the supports as well, it has a higher chance of actually rejecting from the hourly support, and like the 4 hourly, like the higher the time frame, the better. It still rejects from the 30-minute. However, like most of the times that I've seen it confirm like a rejection, it's mainly on like the hourly or the 4 hour. So what I would say is that let's say we put an alert here on that 1 hour support for GJ, right? Let's say we put an alert here for GJ on that 1 hour support, and we're gonna see how it reacts on that 1 hour support. Now what I would say is that we'd wait for one candle to go green, and then wait for the next one to basically create a bottom wick. And once it creates a bottom wick and then flips, then we could possibly use that as an entry to go for a reversal. So let's see if it's going to work out. So this would confirm the chart, and we would be in that chart, and we would be dumping down pretty nicely. And if we look on the yen basket, you'll see that the yen basket is going up as well, and the price is coming down. So that's why I was saying that it's important, you know, once you trade in these forex pairs, you need additional confluence just to make sure you are on the right track per se, right? So same thing for EU. If you're trading EU as well, you want to make sure that you're also tracking no, not that, you're tracking DXY, which is that, because now DXY is going, well, it was going down, but it's now going up. But you can see where EU is pushing down aggressively now back to that zone. So if it comes back to that point of interest, then at that point in time, it would reactivate the zone, and you can basically look for entries again at that point in time. Gold is also coming down as well. It's now 3 minutes until London opening. So London opening should be where the volume is going to come in. So we're just waiting for that right now. Remember, guys, if you haven't yet liked the stream, please go ahead and do so. Is everyone clear on how you'd use the 215 on GJ and also on EU? Or do you guys have any questions? Let me know. So we're slowly going to integrate EU and GJ into our mix. Welcome, Mark. 2 minutes until London opens. All right, now, yep, London volume is in. Usually the London volume as well does affect these as well, the currencies as well. So you should be seeing some more activities coming in to the EU and also in the GJ market as well. As you can see, ooh, that would have been a lovely entry on GJ. Look at that push. So that's decent. So come tomorrow, guys. Once you're on here, you'll be seeing the markups for the GJ and the EU pair. That's a brilliant sell that would have been on GJ as well. And that would have been a brilliant buy as well on EU. Now, what's going on gold? Gold is the main factor right now. We can see where hopefully London is not playing with us and just pushing the price down, only to flip it for it to go back higher. Hopefully that's not the case. So let's see. So all I'm waiting for right now is for price to pull back to the zone with a candle closure and the inside, followed by a candle closure above in between that buy line and that 15-minute rejection line. And if I can get that, then I will be looking to go for a long, targeting that 30-minute support. The 30-minute resistance, sorry. The 30-minute resistance, some distance away. That will be my first TP, and I'll ultimately be targeting that 4-hour resistance. However, even though the 30-minute resistance is like 60 pips away, if I only just get that 30-minute resistance from here, then I'm fine with that, because that's about a 60-pip move, just the same. So let's see if London can bring us the joy which we need. Just need that retracement back to this area. Now look for my entries. Then GJ is dumping like crazy. Brilliant. Look at that. Oh, hold on. Where is the 4-hour support then? Where is it going to reject? Where there's not a defined one, so you might want to use the wicks of the previous closest one. So maybe here, possibly. And if it's not that one, then possibly you still have this little one. Let's use a box for these two. So possibly it would be here as well. So let's see. So what I was saying is that the 1 hour and the 4 hour tends to be the stronger areas for retracement. So let's see what it's going to do on this 1 hour support, if it's actually going to reverse. So we just need one candle to flip and the next one just to change and create a wick then change its direction. EU is coming back into the 215 zone as well. So if it tests that point of interest again, then that would be decent. So it's not as so you know, on gold, where we just basically wait for it to come in, and then once it comes back out again, on the currencies, I normally prefer for it to actually come back to the neutral point, which would be the point of interest, before I actually do look for re-entries. But you guys will learn all of this once you are here on stream. All right, London, we see you. We're waiting patiently. All right, so it's almost 8:05 a.m. and we have 25 minutes left on stream. So let's see if we are going to get what we deserve today. Okay, come on, London. Wow, that came so close to it. Pretty aggressive buyback that was. Didn't quite tap it though. G is still dumping. Yeah, I think gold is going to continue to push now because the XAU seems to be doing a bit of a reversal here. Let's see, 15 minutes. Let's see what's going to happen in 15 minutes, my friends. All right, good. Get in some action. Get in some action. Get in some action on gold. Still, well, not sure if you would classify it as action because we're still not yet back in the zone. So yeah, we're still sitting on our hands. got an alert in EU. EU's coming back to the point of interest. Pretty strong downtrend as well. So usually what would be the entry criteria as well. Hopefully this doesn't push through, because if it push through, it's going to be pretty aggressive. So what I'd like to say, maybe pop, then do that instead of just going right through. But if it goes through, usually it would just be the end off base off the sell from here. But this is it already made up a pretty strong down move already. So I would want to see it slow down, but I don't think it's going to slow down. But let's see what if it closes below, just below. I need it for EU. I need it to be at like 1 pip, like within 1 to 2, but let's say 1.5 pip away from the zone, not too far away from the zone for me to take that entry. Gold is still consolidating now between that 15-minute rejection and that 30-minute resistance point. So it seems like we are at a standstill today on gold, which is all right. Because even though it's not confirmed now on stream, it may very well just be confirmed around 11 o'clock today. So let's see. I was going to check if we have any news coming out for today. I don't think we do. Yesterday was a pretty calm day as well. Yeah, today's just going to be the same thing as well. There's no major news, so the market should basically be moving based off emotions. Not only that, but because I think Trump said something about tariffs as well on China, added an additional 34%, I think. So it's going to be like 50% tariff on China if they don't do something by tomorrow. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out today, because Americans are basically asleep right now. China is awake, but Americans are sleeping right now. So let's see. So tomorrow is going to be a little bit more. Well, that's after market close. That is. So tomorrow is also going to be calm as well. From a news perspective, not until about Thursday when we have some major news coming in around 1:30. CPI coming in around 1:30 my time. That's London time. And then on Friday, it's the same around that time as well. So towards the ending of the week, then there's going to be more high impact news coming around that time. This is still going. EU is still pushing down aggressively, and that could explain as to why gold is pushing down now, and that makes you want to think though, if is it DXY? Yeah, we don't really. So the thing is, with DXY and gold, they are correlated. However, there's a delayed reaction. There's a delayed reaction to them, not like on EU where it's way more close, because EU is like the reverse of DXY. But on gold is like there's a delayed reaction between gold and DXY. So even though DXY is going up, as you can see now, gold may not be reacting to it until like later on, or if it has to be like a very strong push just the same. But let's see, we still have 5 minutes left on stream. We just need to see if this candle is going to come and close inside the zone. If it does close inside the zone, then that will be good. We just need to wait for the next candle. So let's see what's going to happen. Let's look at the EU. A break below. What does that? It's more than one. It's not too bad. 1.5. So yeah, that could be also self-feeder target at 30 minutes support. And ultimately, that 1 hour support. In the end. However, it's now 8:27 a.m. We're still waiting for gold to do its thing. It hasn't yet done anything as yet, so we're just gonna leave it there for today, for today's stream. And basically, what I am waiting for those who are on now, and you might not be in premium to know when I'm taking an entry. What I'm ultimately waiting for is that I'm waiting for price to actually pull back into the zone. Ideally, if it could pull back to around the point of interest area, that would be lovely. Followed by a candle closure on the above for me to look for some long positions from here to target the 30-minute resistance again for my TP, and ultimately actually even pushing it to see if I can get it to that 1 hour resistance. Now that would be like that's a lot of pips, maybe about 150 to be honest, but that's fine. Gold does tend to do that quite a bit often. But if let's say price actually do push down aggressively through the zone and is looking to go for a short, I won't be considering a short until price has come down to test my 15-minute rejection line, as it has done here on the sell side, and retrace back into the zone, followed by a candle closure on the below. Then at that point in time, I'll be considering to take shorts on gold and ultimately looking to target the lower time frame support. Well, why do I say a lower time frame? Not because it's below the zone. Well, targeting the lower supports on the 30-minute all the way up to the 4 hours. So that's basically what I would be looking for today, as gold is still just consolidating on this. All right. Now that's all for me, my friends, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Thank you very much for tuning in and for being here. Thank you for all the likes and all the shares as well, and thank you for the continuous support. All right, so you enjoy the rest of your day, my friends. Stay safe and happy trading.